Growing up, I knew a preacher. Now, I know some of you may not be religious, but I am. But this preacher, he was a good man. He did a lot of things that were good for people. He knew a lot of people. He talked to a lot of people, and he treated people with kindness as much as he could. He could definitely be a little bit nasty, but he was definitely a good guy. He told me a story about his journey through life. And in his very early 20s, he used to be a drug addict. And he was addicted to all of the drugs, pretty much. So he just one day took some heroin to a bathroom to do his drugs, just shit it up. And he said right before he put the needle in his arm, he heard God tell him to not do it because if he did, he would die. So he didn't do it and ended up living a lot longer than he really should have. Because early on, he also had an experience where God told him to just reach up out of water because he was drowning from a tide. And he pretty much almost died in that situation. He pretty much died in that situation. And he came out of it alive. So, after all of those, hardships, he ended up having 3 wonderful children that ended up being successful in life and had 5 grandchildren? Well, yeah, 5 grandchildren. And he was living his life until he got sick. He got sick because of the damage he did to his body when he was addicted to drugs. So basically, those drugs that he used ended up messing up his liver, his kidneys, and it just kind of destroyed him from the inside out. Started killing him early on, and then sadly ended up killing him in the end. He was a good man. He really was. And that man was my grandfather, Terry Lee Carter Sr. That man was my rock. He was my bud. He was hilarious. He was like my best friend. He was there for me in really, really hard times. He told me things that I didn't hear a lot or heard often because as a child you're supposed to hear those things, but I didn't hear those things from certain people in my life up until a few years ago. And we built a lot of memories together. He knew that he was gonna go soon. He died August 19th, 2018 at 10:41 p.m. Eastern Time. So today and the time I am uploading this video is the exact time he died. He passed away. And I remember it so vividly because I was there. I flew home this day last year on my way to go see my grandpa to see him for the last time. I had no idea it was going to be my last time seeing him alive and breathing. But it was hard. Because we were there, we were expecting to stay the night there because he had already died another time during dialysis. And we thought he was gonna make it because every other time something serious like that has happened, he's always pushed through, he's always made it out. But this time that wasn't the case. His heart rate ended up slowing down. The nurse grabbed us all to gather around him to see what would happen. We all gathered around him and slowly he faded away. And at that time, I broke down. As would anybody else who was watching a family member die. But I felt like when he passed that I didn't do enough to see him, to talk to him, to just have another conversation with him. I've gotten my tears out already, so I just wanted you guys to know that is what happened last year. Around this time, I stopped making videos and I stopped wanting to do YouTube at this point. I didn't want to make any more videos and I didn't want to continue on with this channel. I was honestly going to let it die. But as the months went by, I knew that I still loved doing this. But it's hard when you're dealing with a lot of stuff in your personal life. And the fact that I'm not like an adult and I don't have extra time because I have school and homework and stuff. But I went to school today for him. I didn't stay at home and just cry my eyes out, just lying in my bed. I went to school for him as strong as I could. I made sure I did something for him. And that is what really matters to me right now. Because if I didn't go to school today, I would have regretted it. And I told myself throughout this whole week, last year, the 19th was on a Sunday, throughout that whole week, I spent that whole week crying. But I told myself I had to stay strong and do things so I wouldn't regret it. And the fact that I did those things, I don't regret it to this day. The fact that I stayed there in the room, the fact that I saw him in the casket, the fact that I walked up to the casket and touched him for the last time. That was the last time I ever touched him, ever saw him in person. And now the closest I'll ever be to him is him right under my feet. So, all I really have to say is, my grandpa was an important person in my life, and still is to this day. And I will forever honor him on this day. This video is specifically for him. I brought myself to do this. I brought myself to school today. I brought myself to even ask for hugs and love and support today. I did all of that because my grandpa means that much to me. There are a lot of things that I would do for my grandpa. And everything I did for him, I will continue to do things for him. It's gonna be hard to try and let him go, but I'm going to have to sooner or later. I love you, Grandpa, and I miss you very much.